again and welcome back. My name's Annie and this is my creative detour. Today is Full Deck Challenge Day and we're up to card number 16. The prompt for that is sew. So I just wanted to say hi to all of my new subscribers and thank you for subscribing, and welcome back to all the regulars. Thank you for watching and commenting and giving me a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. I have pulled out quite a few things for today. I haven't overplanned it, but I just have gathered a whole heap of resources. So I'll put them on the table and we'll have a look. As you can see, I've already pulled out the 7 of diamonds. I have found this lovely 80s looking lady, and I got her off the front of a sewing pattern. I liked her because she reminded me a little bit of myself in the 80s. I'll talk a little bit about that in the middle of the video about why she reminds me of myself. But she looks simply fabulous and she is on a mission. I also have pulled out some scrapbook paper and it's got sewing patterns on it. And this sewing theme paper, I quite liked this little collection here with the sewing machine and the pattern numbers and that sort of thing. And I also pulled out this paper that has measurement tapes on it, and I like the back of that one, but I've cut off a few measuring tapes. I'm not sure what I'm going to use them for yet, but I cut a few measuring tapes off, so we'll put them there. Okay, so let's just have a little look. I've also done the back already. I've put that scrapbook paper on the back and I've dated it today's date so that the back's already done. And today is the 2nd of May. So yes, I am running a little bit behind, but I'm hoping to catch up very soon. I think I'm just going to tear a few pieces of paper and do a mini collage on it. I like this little section in here, and I like this color here. I think that it works quite nicely with her, the coloring. So I'm just going to tear up a few things and see what I come up with. Okay, I've had a little bit of a play. I'm going to start gluing this down just with Mod Podge. We'll see where it takes us. But I'm kind of liking the text behind her head, the sewing machine down the bottom. I've got some needles down there. So let's see. Okay, our lovely lady here, she is straight from the 80s, isn't she? She has the shoulder pads, striped shirt that got tied in the front once it was, like too long. She's got her short haircut, and she reminded me quite a bit of me in the late 80s. I decided that I was going to get my hair cut really short. I used to have it probably about shoulder length. Then I decided to go really short. My father, it just freaked him out how short I had it cut. I actually had it almost shaved up the back, and I had to wear a scarf around my head for a few weeks until it started to grow back in a bit. She does remind me a little bit of me in my late teens, where I was going super short with my hair and big shoulder pads, massive shoulder pads, like ridiculously big shoulder pads. So that's why I was drawn to her. And I think her name might be Dawn. She looks a little bit like a Dawn to me, or a Tracy. I think I'm going to go with Dawn. And Dawn's decided that she wants to try her hand at sewing, and she's made her first shirt, and she's going to wear it to work. And she's decided that she is going to get a new haircut, a whole new look, and turn up to work in her new shirt that she has made and her new hairstyle. So that's a story about Dawn. I have some dress pattern here out of this simplicity pattern, and I think I'd like to put some on the background just to soften it a bit. I think I want to have some with a text on it, so I'll rip a piece off. Okay, I'm just going to put a piece of the tissue on the card just to soften that 7 of diamonds. Okay, I've dried that off with my heat tool actually, and I'm going to just cut it back, and I think that I'll put a little bit of white gesso on it just to pull some of that black line work back. I'm just going to use my finger. I just want to pull some of this line work back a little. Now what I was thinking was wrapping this around before I put Dawn on. I just want to get it twisting the right way and landing where I want it to land. Yeah, I'm happy with that. That looks good. Before I glue that on, I might ink it a little bit, distress it just a tad, because for any of you that are out there and are sewers, you know that your tape is not clean, not bright white. It's only like that when you buy it. Yeah, I'm liking that. Misses all of the things I need it to miss. Glue it there. And I actually quite like it being a little bit loose. So I think that I'm just going to glue it at the beginning and the end. And I quite like it being a little bit loose so that it gives a little bit of dimension on the card. Okay, now let's get Dawn on. Okay, let's let her dry. We'll put some pen work onto her. I'll just pull out my pit pens. So I'm just using these pit pens to put a bit of colour on. Okay, I'm just putting a little bit of the pen work on just to give a little bit more depth to the saturation of the colour. So all I'm doing with these is because I've sealed it, the surface, I can put this onto the surface, and I've got a little bit of time to blend it, and it just adds a little bit more shade and shadow to it. I think that's all I want to do. I think I might put some red buttons on her shirt. Yes, she's looking quite a bit brighter. Okay, now I'm sure you're thinking to yourself, now Annie, the prompt was sew, not necessarily sew themed. However, I do have sew themed on there. But I am going to do a little bit of hand stitching, but I want to put a sentiment on first. and I've pulled out this one here because I think that it's very relevant to our friend Dawn here, and it's sometimes you have to take chances. And I think that for her, she did an amazing job of taking a chance, sewing a new shirt, and getting her hair cut short, like, because it is the 80s. And I think that I'm leaning towards putting it on an angle parallel to the tape measure. Ah, yes, I'm happy with that. I'll put a little bit of pen around that. So this is where we're up to, and I have to do 2 prompts. I have to do my carryover, which is paint swatches. So you can see that I've actually die cut out some little buttons. So I'm going to sew those on. I also have to sew. So I'm going to sew the buttons on first and then see whether I need to be sewing anywhere else. And I also have found a name for her. We named her Dawn earlier on, and I actually am altering a book at the moment and found the word Dawn in the book. So I'm going to put that on the back so I remember her name. So let's position these buttons, work out where we want them. So let's see where we're up to. I had to bring forward an item from last week's card, and I also had to put on my constant. So the item that I brought forward were buttons, and you can see that we have a button here on our bowerbird. But I also used the buttons as my constant because I made the buttons out of red paint swatch. So I die cut out some buttons, and then I've sewn them on. You can see that I've sewn them on with black thread. I've also put some on the back and stitched them on. And you can see that I've put Dawn's name on there as well so that I remember her name. I've also put on some black watercolor pen just around the edge to make it more defined. And I kind of feel like it needs a bit of brightening up. So I'm going to put some white splatters on it. So I'll just cover her face because we don't want her sunglasses and her face to have splatters. And we'll put some splatters on there. I've just got some scrap here to cover her face. And I'm going to put some over the text as well because I don't want the words to be spoiled. And I'm just using some Liquitex acrylic ink to do some splatters. All right, that's better. Okay, that's looking a little bit brighter. Okay, so let's have a little look at Dawn and what I did. So Dawn is trying her hand at sewing. You can see her sewing machine in the background and the paper patterns and her measuring tape. And she's feeling like she needs to give things a go. So she's decided to make herself a new shirt, and it was a huge success. She's been wanting to get a short haircut for a while. It is the 80s, and short hairstyles go really well with really big shoulder pads, as I can testify because I did that for. So that's what brings in our quote. Sometimes you have to take chances, and Dawn's definitely taken some chances. She's loving it. So there she is, and on the back we've got the date, we've got the buttons, and we've got her name and paper patterns and some tape. And I like that I've left the tape proud, not stuck down flat, that it's got a little bit of dimension to it. So I'll bring it up close for you to have a little look at it. There we go. And I'm happy with that. I managed to get the prompts in and my constant carried over. I was thinking a little bit during making it, where am I going to put some paint swatches? What am I going to do with that? But I managed to think of something, and I'm happy with how it turned out. So let's put her with the pack, add her to the family. There we go. There's Dawn. Thank you very much for watching today and joining in on Dawn's story. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. And thank you very much for watching. I will see you all very soon with card number 17. And I think then I will have caught up, which is exciting. Have a great weekend, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.